Howdy, funky people. Welcome to Carfunkle. You can call me Carby or Carb. I'm a Carbuncle and I make mythology videos. This is another one in a long line of my Greek deities Iceberg. The order isn't super important since you're probably just here for stories, but if you want to see them in order, check out the playlist at the end of the video or check the comments to see if the mega videos are out yet. There are almost 20 layers, so forgive me if these intros start to seem a little repetitive or short. Aura. Goddess of the Breeze. Despite being a minor deity, we actually have a story with her. It's not a good story to start a video on, but she teased Artemis for having larger breasts and implied that means that she's not actually a virgin. Artemis took offense, asked Nemesis for vengeance, and Nemesis made Dionysus go mad with lust and take her virginity by force. This is the second time Dionysus was used in such a way for Artemis. After giving birth to the children, she tries to feed them to a lion, one gets eaten and Artemis saves the other one. Aura then drowns herself in the river where Zeus turns her into a spring. Nephilah. Cloud nymph who was the goddess of hospitality, generosity, loyalty, peace, and shyness. Nephilah was a cloud that Zeus created in the form of his wife Hera in order to trick Ixion as a test of his loyalty. Ixion had previously expressed interest in Hera during a feast, but Ixion failed the test because he essayed Nephilah, and that resulted in the birth of the centaurs. In another story, centaurs were made by Zeus boning a horse. Wow, not a good start to this layer. Echo. You probably know about Echo. She was a mountain nymph. In Metamorphoses by Ovid, Hera was jealous of Zeus's many affairs. Let me know if you heard this one. Anyway, whenever she was about to catch Zeus, she would be distracted by the excessively chatty Echo. When Hera realized it was Echo distracting her, Hera cursed her to only be able to say the last word spoken to her. After this curse, she fell in love with a beautiful young man named Narcissus. She loved him greatly and wanted nothing more than to speak to him, but because of Hera's curse, she could only watch in silence. In the middle of a hunt, Narcissus got separated from his crew and called out, "Is anyone there?" And Echo repeated, "Anyone there? Anyone there?" Narcissus, surprised to hear a woman's voice, beckoned to her. "Come here," he said. Echo repeated that too. "Come here, come here, come here." Narcissus waited, but figured that the voice must be lost and headed in the wrong direction. So he shouted once more, "This way! We must come together!" Echo, being an idiot, took this as a proclamation of his love for her. This is like that one friend who thinks that the waitress is flirting with him when it's her job to be nice to him and just wants a tip. Anyway, Echo repeated, "We must come together, 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 together." She ran to Narcissus and ready to embrace him when Narcissus shouted, "Begone, thought!" He actually said, "Hands off, I would die before I let you enjoy my body," but really that's just a more verbose way of saying, "Begone, thought." Echo responded in a whisper, "Enjoy my body, my body, my body," before she ran away, humiliated. Even though she was rejected by Narcissus, she couldn't stop loving him. When Narcissus looked into the pool at his own reflection just before his death, he said, "Oh, marvelous boy, I love you in vain. Farewell." And so too did Echo whisper back, "Farewell." And as Narcissus passed away, so too did Echo's body, leaving nothing but her haunting voice. Alpheus. River god who was a passionate hunter who fell in love with Arethusa, a nymph. She fled from him and turned into a well. In response, Alpheus became a river. There they united as two bodies of water. Brizo, Greek goddess who protected seamen and was a prophet who specialized in dream reading. Arche, muse of origins and beginnings. Astraea, virgin goddess of justice, innocence, purity, and precious. Not to be confused with the previously mentioned Asteria, the goddess of the stars. Astraea was the last of the immortals to lie with humans during the Golden Age. People didn't trust each other during this time, caring more for gold and coin than family. Tired of their squabbles, she left the earth to become a star. Chrysis, personification of gold. Crius, male genealogical titan, son of Uranus and Gaia. Polyhemia, muse of sacred poetry, hymns, dance, eloquence, agriculture, and pantomime. Akeso, Greek goddess of well-being and healing process, daughter of Asclepius and Epione, whereas her sister, Panacea, represented the cure to all ailments. Akeso represented the healing process. Epione, mother of many medicinal gods like the previously mentioned Akeso, she's married to Asclepius. Eucleia, female personification of glory and good repute. She isn't in any myth of her own, but she's depicted in pottery as an attendant of Aphrodite. Mintha, Underworld water nymph who was from the river Cocytus. She was loved by Hades and was his mistress until Hades' wife Persephone caught her and turned her into a mint plant. Now, rather than being loved only by Hades, she was loved by many. Priapus. God of fertility, veggies, nature, livestock, beekeeping, sex, genitalia, masculinity, and gardening. He was the son of Aphrodite and Dionysus, but potentially other deities like our favorite goat shagger Pan. I actually can't show many pics of this dude because unlike other gods who were portrayed with modest girth, Priapus had a log of salami swinging between his legs. In ancient Greece, most gods and heroes were portrayed as having a small sausage because this was a time of thinkers and philosophers. Big salami logs were associated with lustfulness, brutishness, and savagery. That's why most Greek statues had small pee-pee. It represented culture and civility, but not Priapus. You could hear it smacking between his thighs as he walked. In myth, Hera curses Priapus with erectile dysfunction. She did this because someone said Aphrodite was prettier than her. For some reason, the other gods after this didn't allow him to live on Mount Olympus, which is weird because Limp is in the name. So Priapus was cast down to Earth where he was fathered by shepherds. When he grew up, he lived with Pan and the satyrs, and was tormented by his soldiers' inability to stand at attention. It's not really said what cured his impotence, but he is forever depicted with a massive schlong showing his lustful nature. In one story, a nymph named Lotus passed out from drunkenness, and Priapus, being a piece of garbage, took this opportunity to try and take advantage of her. A donkey started braying and caused Lotus to wake up. He didn't stop pursuing her until a god pitied her and turned her into a lotus flower. After this, Priapus used his mammoth meat to bludgeon the braying donkey to death. Priapus might sound familiar because his name comes from the origin word for the medical condition priapism. If you remember the warning at the end of Viagra commercials, if it lasts longer than 4 hours, consult a doctor. That's priapism. Porus. Personification of resourcefulness or expediency. Ponos. Personification of hardship and toil. Ioki. Female personification of onslaught, battle, rooting, and pursuit. Hymen. God of marriage ceremonies. Another one of the winged love gods known as Erotes. It was his job to attend every wedding, and any wedding he didn't visit was guaranteed to end in failure. As you might have guessed, he's the origin word for hymen, a piece of tissue present in female genitalia. It can go away over time or tear during intercourse. This tissue has the misconception of being an identifier of virginity, but as I said, it can just go away with time or any penetration whatsoever. Koalemos, god of stupidity. Castor and Pollux. This is a weird one. They're twin half-brothers, which isn't possible, or so I thought. Twins can be born by different fathers by heteropaternal superfecundation, meaning that the same egg was fertilized by two different fathers. They're twin brothers sharing a mom named Leda, but have different fathers. One was Zeus, who assaulted Leda in the form of a swan, the other being Tyndareus, the king of Sparta. They're both the gods of sailors and horsemanship. Ergia, personification of sloth. Orma, the opposite of Ergia, the personification of effort, impulse, and energy. Physis, primordial of nature. Hedone, personification of pleasure, enjoyment, delight, and is the daughter of Eros and Psyche. She's mostly associated with the pleasure behind closed doors. Zephyrus, one of the Anemoi, or wind gods. We talked about Zephyrus, and he's the personification of the west wind. He abducted Chloris, but eventually earned her love, but he's had a few wives like Iris, the goddess of the rainbow. Pistis, personification of good faith, trust, and reliability. Notice, another Anemoi like Zephyrus, but the south wind. Angelos, daughter of Zeus and Hera with no specific domain of her own. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a gem emoji and subscribe for even more gods. You'll definitely want to subscribe when the mega edits come out because, you know, you can watch a lot all at once. Or maybe use them all as a refresher.
Cha!